All right, we're back with another edition of ATL Three Style Podcast. I ain't one of your co-hosts, Leo G, and as y'all can see, I got my boy Banks over there. What's going on, Banks, out there on the south side? What's up, Banks?
What's good? What's good, Leo? Leo, what's going on? Everybody out there in internet land, how y'all feeling?
Hey, man, we feeling some type of way today, man. We're gonna get into it, man. Listen, this has been a crazy sports weekend. Obviously, the last podcast that we came, we had a lot of good news and a lot of good things to talk about and celebrate. Not so much today. Obviously, man, it's a lot to get into and a lot to digest, man, because I don't know. We keep going through this time and time again, and I feel like it's too early in the season for us to really start to talk about these things, especially when it comes to our Atlanta Falcons. We'll probably talk a little Georgia Bulldogs as they get ready to face Alabama here up in Athens on this Saturday night. But the first and foremost thing to talk about today is the Atlanta Falcons. But before we get too far off into the podcast, Banks, let everybody know about our boy out there on the east side, man. You got to come off mute before you can talk about him, dude.
You talking
You
about
all flustered today.
my boy Phil out there on the east side of Eastland Woodworking Company. If you need anything specially made, custom made, ashtray, you want a coaster, you want anything that's on something that's custom to you. For example, like my Atlanta Falcons with my B on here for Banks, he will hook you up. Hit that QR code and tell them that we sent you.
Absolutely, man. Hit our boy Phil up, man. You know what I'm saying? He loves to do some work for everybody, man. So our boy Derek Cole is not with us right now, man. He was having some technical difficulties out there on the east side, man, out there in Loganville, man. So hopefully in just a minute he'll be able to jump on, man, and talk about what we talking about, man. So Banks, it's no secret, man. We'll go ahead and get into the show, man. So as we record this show, man, coming off the heels, the Falcons took on the Carolina Panthers up there in Charlotte. And we need to just get into it and dissect it, man, because I'm gonna dub this show, man, State of the Union, a state of emergency with the Atlanta Falcons. Is this too early? Are we too early to hit the panic button? And we want to just get some thoughts out, man, as to what's going on with this organization and this franchise 3 games in, and why is it that things are in disarray after coming off of what we thought was a pretty decent performance against the Minnesota Vikings. We go up there and play Charlotte and look like, just for lack of a better word, we didn't look like we've ever played a football game, not just this season, but like it was just a brand new team. Everybody just met each other like the day before, and they went out there, and it just did not look good at all. So we'll get into that here now, Banks. We'll go up to Charlotte, divisional game last year. They put an L on us in the end of the season out. Obviously, we thought there was going to be some, a little get back when we went up here to Charlotte. Came off of a good game against the Minnesota Vikings, beat them up there. It wasn't pretty by no means, but we talked about this in previous podcasts, man. As fans, we just want to see these teams find ways to win. So you thought that momentum would kind of roll into Sunday going up against Carolina, and it didn't. It didn't translate at all. We got beat 30-0, which is crazy, but we'll talk about statistically what happened here in just a moment. But Banks, your first thoughts on, and I know how you are, Banks. You probably didn't watch too much of the game, probably had to come in on the tail end somewhere to find out what happened, because we know your frustration levels get a little bit too much. And it's like, okay, I know when they stink, and I'm not going to sit here for this. So Banks, tell us how you felt Sunday, man, after watching the Falcons get dismantled up there in Carolina.
Well, you're absolutely right. I checked out it right after halftime, dude. It was no change, no adjustments. It was just the same old, same old. I mean, I'm honestly to the point where it's like I can find other things to do. Like I can really entertain myself. I can play the PlayStation. I can do anything else than watch that mess. Coming off a Minnesota win, I mean, looking back on it now, the way they played last week, I'm sorry, the way they played this week, you know, dare I say we were lucky that we didn't see Carson Wentz. I mean, we could be sitting here 0-3 right now. So I don't know, man. I just feel like, it's the same thing we're talking about week in and week out. Don't have an answer for it. We're sitting there pointing blank fingers at people, pointing blame. We don't know where to go. I mean, and my thing is, again, it's the same mentality. What else is new? I mean, what else is new? I mean, it's not even something to even get concerned about anymore, to be honest with you.
I mean, Banks, it sounds like you just completely checked out, like, for real. But listen, we're gonna keep it moving. I mean, unless you want to talk about something else, unless this is not something that you.
No, 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 no. We can talk about this. This is exactly. Listen, we can dive head first into this because I got lots to say about it. A lot of people sat there and said, "I don't know what I was talking about going into this season." You know, a lot of this stuff is continuity things, coaching that we felt like for some reason over our off season that this team has arrived. We haven't done anything to convince anybody that we have arrived. What have we done? Nothing. We haven't done anything. And then when people get shocked, like, oh my gosh, why are we not doing this? Because the philosophy is wrong. Your offensive coordinator didn't even call a play in preseason. And now all of a sudden he can just turn on a switch and feel like he can carve a defense apart? No. Now he's coming to the field like that's gonna help. Oh, okay, cool. Come out the booth. Sure, thanks. That should have done that. That'll do it. Absolutely.
No, I was just letting you get it all out. Um, yeah. So obviously, yeah, there are some fundamental problems and some things that are going on with this team, and we'll try to look at them here from a fan's perspective, like we always do. I mean, me personally, man, watching this game, there were a lot of things that I saw that did carry over from the Minnesota game, obviously into the Carolina game, and it's the communication issue that you just hit on. So let's talk about that here for a minute. And I put that squarely on the people that are running the team. And when I say that, I mean the coaches. It starts with Raheem. These things don't necessarily, in my opinion, have anything to do with your talent or your product on the field. These things need to be mitigated and controlled by the coaching staff. And communication is one of the biggest things that the coaching staff is responsible for. So if you can't communicate well to your players in all aspects and all phases of the game, this is going to translate very, very bad on the field. And this lies squarely on Raheem. I don't think this lies on Penix. I don't think this lies on Drake London, Bijan, anybody that's actually out there in cleats and pads. I think this is a direct reflection of the coaching staff. So I say all that to say this, that is something that somebody had to pay the piper for. Obviously, we got the news that Ike Hilliard was fired. He was the wide receiver coach, and like Banks, you alluded to, we're moving Zach Robinson out of the coach's perch down to the field to try to mitigate some of these communication issues. So Banks, I'm gonna pass it over to you here. Ike Hilliard, he is now the guy that had to take the blame. I guess there were a lot of, everybody saw it. The media talked about it. We talked about it as fans. The communication issues. We thought it was just crowd issues up in Minnesota, but obviously we go to Carolina. We know there's not a big crowd in Carolina, obviously, but it was the same old thing with communication issues. So I got a two-part question for you, Banks, and I kind of give my thoughts on some of this as well. And if Derico joins us, I ask him the same thing. Do you think this offense is just too complex to where we can't get the plays out, or do you think this is just a total gaffe on the coaching staff when it comes to communication? We know sometimes the complexities of NFL offenses can be crazy with a lot of verbiage, but do you think this is just the coaching staff not preparing well to be able to communicate these things to the player?
It's absolutely the latter. The coach is not doing what he's supposed to do. We didn't have this issue last season when Penix came in. He was throwing the ball all over the field. Same offensive coordinator. So what changes? What changed over an off season? So you mean to tell me after a whole summer off and we get the first 3 games of the season, we just forgot how to communicate a play to the quarterback? I mean, come on now. No, it's listen, preparation is everything. Your whole and I hate keep going back to this, and it's this the preseason thing. Yes, we didn't have to play the players in the preseason for injury purposes, which I think is what blow the crap. But you it's the audacity to sit there and think that this team can turn on a switch. And we're nowhere near that team. We're not that team. We need every is reps, communication issues, anything. TJ Yates had no business calling plays in preseason. Is he going to call plays in the regular season? Because if so, then maybe he need to go ahead and get his chance at the plate. But if not, that's the philosophy I'm talking about. It's so flawed. You don't know what the hell you're doing. Now we're sitting here twirling our thumbs and trying to figure out what the hell is up, and we don't have an answer for it. The coaching staff don't have an answer for it. You fired a wide receiver coach for what? For what? You needed a scapegoat. I guess somebody had to answer for that. You got the wrong guy. You got the wrong guy out of here. And
Like
this
I
is a
said,
reflection. It's a reflection of the head coach.
that's what I'm
A
saying. I was
big
about to say
reflection of the
that
head coach.
that all falls on Raheem, and Raheem has to put in place where he needs to find action. And I guess maybe there. I mean, and of course, as fans, we're just speculating. There was some a disconnect, and I hear it has something to do with it because obviously the wide receiver play, and we'll talk about that here in just a second, has been lackluster. Haven't really gotten a lot here because we haven't really scored a lot of points. We thought or we assumed that there may have been some dynamic plays in this offense because of what we heard and what we saw during camp. Obviously, like Banks, I saw where you posted about the deep balls that we saw in summer camp, and that was basically, I guess, just an illusion because we haven't seen any of that going into the regular season with this team. Obviously, when you get put in these situations like we did on Sunday, it's hard to kind of, get everything together. Because once you go down so much, man, game plans kind of go out the window and then you kind of have to fight for your life. Let's talk a little bit about Parker Romo, man. He missed 2 kicks coming off the heels of making 5 up in Minnesota. I don't know now if this is a fundamental problem or if this is something that we're going to continue to have issues with and not being able to find a solid kicker. Obviously, Younghoe Koo was very, very clutch for us for a number of years. We decided to move on from him. Now, hindsight is always 2020. Like I said, Parker Romo, exit Younghoe Koo, enter Parker Romo. He kicked 5 in Minnesota, and then he misses 2. One, obviously, to open up the game, which was very egregious. It wasn't even close to open up that first drive he missed up in Carolina. So let's talk a little bit about and the special teams, by the way, all game Sunday, every facet of the game kind of just was not together on Sunday. But specifically, let's talk about Parker Romo because Banks, I don't know if you heard, we brought another kicker in today now to compete with Parker Romo. Is this something that we're going to continue to see here over the next several games where we're going to be trying out kickers every game to see who's going to give us the best chance to kick? Because we know that kicking is a very, very big part of the game. And are we going to continue to do this, or have we, do we give Parker Romo some grace and say, hey, let's try this again on this Sunday versus the Commandos?
Another blunder by this head coaching that we have called Raheem Morris. You had a whole off season to do this. You know good and well that Younghoe Koo was the reason why you lost a lot of games last season. He opened up the season and you lost the game because of not mainly because of that. It was a big part of why you lost week 1. And now we're doing this with Parker Romo. Okay, he missed 2. So what this new kicker gonna do? That's in competition with him. He starts the next few games and he missed 1. We're back at square one. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like it's a bad look for this regime. A terrible look. Run out with Romo and just take your lumps. I don't know what else to say. I mean, you had a whole off season to do this and you chose not to. What the hell you been doing all off season? And then listen. I'm kind of over it with the, with the preparation, take with this coaching staff. We all know they can't get right. But now I'm questioning is like what is the end game? What was the vision for this team?
So let me pose this question, Banks. Let me pivot a little bit here, man, because it sounds like there's a theme, a recurring theme with you. And let's just be honest, open, and transparent right now. After 3 games and what you've seen with Raheem and this coaching staff, do you feel as though moving forward, there's no need to even move the needle with them anymore, that we need to probably start? If this doesn't get turned around immediately this Sunday, do you feel like it's cause for just go ahead and end the Raheem era after a season and a half into this thing?
Well, I feel like this. If we lose Sunday, I think you're in a big pickle going into the rest of the season. it is what it is with this regime. I think we can
I mean,
kind of see that.
you keep calling it a regime.
Listen,
I'm trying to get. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me. I'm gonna let you finish, but you keep calling it a regime, but it's not really been a regime. It's been one season and 3 games. I mean, can we really put this on the fact that it won't get right? It won't get turned around. You've seen enough to say, hey, we need to move forward, blow this thing up, and start all over again. 8 years now removed from the play. Well, it'll be 8 years removed from the playoffs if we do this. Because let's be real, if we do decide to move on from Raheem Morris sometime within this season, that means you're going to have to rebuild this whole thing all over again. And, we know we had Arthur Smith in here. It did not work after 3 seasons, and you bring him in, like I said, one season and 3 games removed, because the way you're talking is if, the needle is pointed in the direction of he's going to have to go, and it's all going to be on the line this Sunday.
yep, absolutely. I don't think anybody that with a good brain can see that this team with him can turn this around. He's all smiles, all talk. Yeah, we gonna do this, blah 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 blah, and we keep doing the same thing. We keep doing the same thing every Sunday. So I mean, yeah, I mean, you kind of know we missed the playoffs this year. It's a wrap for him. I mean, I think we can all agree on that, right?
I mean,
You
I don't
think you?
know. I mean,
I mean,
I don't
I
know.
mean,
I mean, definitively, like I said, I want to see Raheem do well. I can't answer all of the questions because I'm not there. Like I said, we're looking at this from a fan's perspective, right? There are a lot of different things and a lot of different caveats, in my opinion. I'm not giving this man a pass, but there are things that need to be cleaned up. And I mean, obviously, the communication issue that's going on right now with Penix and Zach Robinson and I hear whoever, that thing looks to be, hey, we pivoted, we move forward, we're going to try this on this Sunday coming in again. And we'll talk about the Commanders game here in just a moment. But, I just can't say if I've seen enough of body of work with Raheem. I know a lot of people are going to go back to his Tampa days and they're going to talk about he wasn't ready in Tampa and all these other different things. But let's be real, man. The man's won championships. He's been on some great, he's been on some great staffs. Obviously, so he knows a lot. He's been in the NFL for a while. You disagree and say he doesn't know anything. He's won a championship and he's been on some great coaching staffs.
listen, he had Aaron Donald on his staff. Okay, let's keep that a buck. I could have went at that and been defensive coordinator for the Rams and got a
So you're
ring.
saying it's all smoke and
Listen,
mirrors for Raheem. It's all smoke
yes,
and
it
mirrors.
is. Yes, it is. You cannot tell me this man comes from. Now let's not forget he was an interim coach here before and was mucking up. So I need not even bring that up, I guess, because we seem to have amnesia when he was here the first time. When he was in Tampa, I guess he was kind of brand new, and then he's like, okay, he comes get a second chance, and he's gonna get more mature about it. Where's the maturity? And we still doing coaching blunders that you have no business doing. And I don't want to hear about no Super Bowl that he was a coordinator for. Thank McVay for that. That's McVay, not him. That's McVay. Okay, you are a coordinator. You keep that defense together. Congrats. And you have one of the greatest defensive tackle there is at that time. Congrats. Because here, I mean, I can pat you on the back right now for the defense being number 2 in the league, but lo and behold, your offense is trash. I mean, it's ass juice right now. It's ranked 31st in the league. Your offense. And it's not because of our players. It's because of the blunders, of the miscommunications, if you will. That's been going on for 3 straight weeks now. You talking about calling the timeout and then you come back and still get a delay of game? That's happened 2 times already this year. Twice. One time is okay, but the second is unforgivable. You call a timeout, and then the very next play, it's a penalty. How do you do that? As a head coach, when do you take control of this? This is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Now
Okay.
it's you cannot ignore that. You can't
Okay.
ignore it.
No, nobody. I don't think nobody is ignoring it, Banks. I don't think. Let's not. I know you want to punch on Raheem, but we got to move forward here and we got to talk. Let's talk about what we can do. I mean, obviously we see the position that you're in. And I mean, I think it's clear as day to everybody that listens to us and watch us that there's no vote of confidence in what Raheem's doing. And I don't think you have a vote of confidence in what's going on for the rest of the season as long as he's the head coach. But let's talk about this game coming up Sunday against the Commanders. Dan Quinn coming back in. Obviously, the Commanders won on this past Sunday. Actually, Marcus Mariota, who we're very familiar with, played that game. So we don't know if Jaden Daniels will be playing or Marcus Mariota will be starting. Obviously, the Commanders might be without one of their best wide receivers as well, their highest paid wide receiver as well. We know they got a pretty decent defense up there. Joe Witt, defensive coordinator, man, we're very familiar with him. Obviously, he's been with Dan Quinn for quite some time. So, Banks, I'm going to say this much and start off first here and see what we can do right to get this thing back together and kind of right this ship. The communication issue needs not to be a problem on Sunday. Let's start there. Let's start with getting this communication issue right. And I feel like if we can get that done right and not worry about those things, because let me tell you something, we got a young quarterback. When he's worried about the communication issues, I think that takes away from his confidence and his style of play. So like you said, Banks, no fault of the players, because like I said, there's been so much of debacles with the coaching staff. So let's start there with the communication, both offensively and defensively. Let's make sure that we're managing this team very, very well. So Raheem, that's one on you on this Sunday. Number two, let's come out and be competitive and let's come out and be physical. Let's keep it simple. Let's be able to play a game that we know we can play. We can run the football. We can do that very, very well. And let's give ourselves some opportunities to, when we get in scoring position, to actually put some points on the board. If we need to put pressure on Parker Romo with bringing him some competition in there, say, hey, listen, because these 3 points, these 1 points on these extra, they're going to count. We've talked about this time and time again with this team, man. This is no, go home and, beat the traffic team. This is going to probably come down to Sunday, maybe a possession type game. So everything is going to have to count. Defensively, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be good. I think from an offensive perspective with the Commanders, they're not going to change much, whether it's Jaden Daniels or Mariota in there. I think their game plan is going to be the game plan offensively, and they got some talented guys on that side of the ball. But I think the first thing to look for is communication on the offensive side of the ball. Let's get some things going. Let's get some positives going. And I think that we'll be okay. I'm not predicting a win. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying that we can be much better if we mitigate that problem that we had as far as communication. That's the first thing. Banks, give me some of your pluses that we need to do in order to win this matchup on this Sunday.
Well, you kind of stole my thunder. I mean, first things first, clean the coaching blunders up. I mean, communication, if you get that part down, let's see where we can go. Let's see if that does any wonders for Penix, because it seemed like he was rattled, once he couldn't get the plays in his ear, and then he wasn't understanding what he was seeing on the field, and I'm very shocked that he played that way. Yes, he's a rookie. He's played his 6 games. But for him to be totally lost, like he had no idea what was going on. It was like night and day for what we seen even from week 1. So I mean, it's like something's got to change. If that is a start, then let's start there. I don't know what else they have to do. I think the defense is fine, and I can't believe I'm saying that. Defense has been playing well this first 3 weeks. I guess we can start there, Leo. I don't know what else to do with this offense. Like, you have one of the best running backs in the league, and we got another running back in Algier, and he only got 1 carry last Sunday. I mean, that's got to change.
Well, listen, it's clear as day. You know what I'm saying? Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder can see this, man. Changes have to be made. This cannot look the same way, like you said, on this Sunday, Bank. So obviously, we're gonna be staring down the barrel of 1-2 going into the bye week. I'm sorry, it'll be 1-3. My apologies, going into the bye week. You just do not want to do that. So it's clear as day that changes need to be made. Preparation is going to have to be key. This team is going to have to come out and look very prepared, and they're going to have to look like, they went over everything they needed to in practice this week in order to come out. This is NFL. You're going to play it. Let's keep it a buck, man. Dan Quinn is a decent coach. Joe Witt is a good defensive coordinator, man. They're going to be throwing a lot at this young kid They know, they looking at the tape. They seen that we've having a lot of issues here with communication. And like you said, Banks, it's getting to the point where it's like, now, okay, is it in his head? Because there have been a lot of things that we've seen in replays, and I've watched the all 22 where people have been open. He's missed throws. He's trying to do a little too much. Some of those Patrick Mahomes sidearm throws, I was like, where is this coming from? Why is he doing this? We got to get it back to the basics, man. We run the football. We do that well. I think we're able to run the football against anybody in this league. I say that. I think if we can get the run going, we're fine. And that's going to have to happen. Establish that. See if you can throw in some of the things that we were successful at before with some of the play actions. Put people in position to where, your quarterback doesn't have to think he can get that ball out, man. Let's dumb it down. KIS says keep it simple, stupid. Just keep it simple this Sunday, man. Run the football, take what they give you. You know what I'm saying? Let's not get ahead of over our skis, man. And like you said, Banks, I think I agree defensively, man, with Ulbrich over there. I think he's an elder statesman. I think Ulbrich will have the defense together and ready to go. It's just hard to put your defense in a position like they did on this past Sunday, right? I mean, you go down so much, it's like, well, dang, you put the defense in a bad position, because now it's like, they're on their heels and they're trying to do everything that they can. You got to give the defense a fighting chance. You can't, have turnovers. I think we had 2 turnovers, 1 for a pick 6. Like I said, special teams played egregiously, man. We got to all work together cohesively, if we want to try to get this game on Sunday, Banks. So your thoughts on this? Can we pull this game on Sunday, and then we'll talk a little bit about Georgia before we close this thing out?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Lee. I have no clue. I don't know. I don't know what Zach Robinson. I don't trust the man. I don't believe he can change it within 7 days and kind of like, okay, I got it. He's been doing this for a minute now. So I can only hope. I mean, I don't think we're gonna have a home field. I think a lot of fans has checked out for what I've been reading. So it's gonna be a lot of Commander fans in there. So it's gonna be another away game. So unfortunately, you can only hope. So I mean, I don't know. I have no clue.
I mean, let's be real, man. For what it's worth, we ain't had a home field advantage since we moved in there. Like I said, we almost 8 years removed from the playoffs. So we could, the matter of, the fans showing up or whatever the case may be, fans are gonna be fans. Like it or not. I got into a little situation. I'm not gonna go too far in it about, I had my gear on Sunday. I was going to the store before the game, and somebody said, "Oh, here come the bandwagon Falcons fans." Let me tell you something. I'm gonna reiterate this, just like I did for the young man in the store, man. If you got some nerve to call a Falcon fan a bandwagon fan, what wagon? There is no wagon when it comes to the Falcons, sir. We're it. If you see a Falcons fan, we are it, man. We didn't jump on this thing, man, because I didn't wake up and just say, like you say, Banks. I didn't wake up and just choose this. I didn't wake up and choose violence. I didn't wake up and choose depression. Like, I've been rolling with this team for a while, and I'm too old to go somewhere else, right? I can see if I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, a city, Salt Lake, that didn't have a team, and I could just throw a dart and say, hey, I'll be a Steeler fan. But hey, we had a team in the city that I was born and raised in, and I jumped on them. So there's no wagon. So for the young man in the store that said, hey, here come the Falcons bandwagon, no, absolutely not. That's not what we are here. I think we can get this thing done, Banks. I think I'm going to stay, cautiously optimistic like I always do, and say that we can try to get this thing together. If anything, man, the players should be embarrassed enough, even though a lot of this is not on them. But I'm pretty sure with the competitors that we have on both sides of the ball, that they should be able to get some fire in their bellies to go out and play a lot better. Because that was embarrassing. So you get embarrassed like that all the way around, man. You don't want to come out and look that way again, unless we're not the team, like you said, Banks, we thought we were. Let's move forward here, talk a little bit about Georgia before we close this thing out, man. Listen, the Tide come to Athens. We got them in Athens this year, Banks. I'm looking forward to this game on Saturday, man. I think we're built for it, man. Unlike the Falcons, man, I like my chances with Kirby Smart in Athens with the Dogs. Gunnar Stockton proved to us, hey, man, he's that guy. I mean, yeah, he's not perfect by any means. I mean, like you said, he has some flaws, but I think that the Dogs are up for the challenge. Obviously, Alabama is going to come in and bring their all because they got a lot going on too with them as well. But your thoughts on the Dogs taking on Alabama Saturday evening up there between the hedges?
Huge game. huge game this Saturday, and I see that they changed it to a prime time 7:30 kickoff. So I think Athens going to be jumping. It's going to be live. I feel like this is compared, for the game that was last season. They was getting boat raced in that game, and they had to make a game out of it. Towards the end, and then they ultimately lost it at the very last play. But I feel like a lot of those guys that still on the team remembers that game, and they're going to basically, I guess, channel it. This is a huge game that's been played in Athens in a long time, probably since a couple of years ago when they played Tennessee. It's something I'm looking forward to it. A lot of headlines that's been going around. The last time Georgia lost a home game was to Alabama, so it's a lot on the line right now. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people are ready for this matchup.
Absolutely, man. It's gonna be one of those early season matchups that hey, it's like let's do this, man. So I'm looking forward. Like I said, man, I think one thing is the common denominator between Georgia and a lot of other teams is Kirby Smart always has these boys ready. They play and they never really give up. Like you said, man, they were getting, as you say, boat race against Alabama last year, and they came back and made it a game. So I don't see this being a runaway. I think this is going to be, in my opinion, this is my personal opinion, I think it's going to be a rock fight. I think this is going to be a rock fight. Who's going to be able to take the last rock upside the head and take that thing on home. I think Georgia will prevail in this one, and I think we'll be okay. Banks, man, we are at that mark. We are at that time. A couple of little notes that I want to throw out here, man. I don't want to depress anybody, but I want to shout out to the Dream for having a great season. They were put out of the playoffs the other day by Indiana. So great season, a lot of promise. Hopefully they'll take some of that moving forward. Also, we know Atlanta Braves, they clinched the home visit with their family and friends this year. Atlanta Braves, just came up short. Also, shout out to Atlanta United boys over there, man. They're going through it as well over there. Don't look like they'll be having any postseason aspirations as well. Do want to talk a little bit about, because I get knocked over the head a lot. We got a lot of people that are fans of that North Avenue Trade School over there. They're rolling, man, 4-0. Looks like they could very well run the table, Banks. And I think we'll talk a little bit about what they got going on at the North Avenue Trade School. I refuse to call them by their name, but the North Avenue Trade School over there, they might be doing some things, man. Look, Banks, we could have a hell of a matchup, man, going into the last game of the season, clean old fashioned hate in Mercedes-Benz, man. If Tech continues to play the way they're playing, because I looked at Tech's schedule, I was like, man, I don't see anybody on this schedule to challenge these boys, except for them dogs. So we'll see how that all plays out. Banks, let everybody know where they can catch you, brother.
Well, just go back to piggyback what you saying. The rock fight in Athens against Bama. I think I like my chances with Georgia. Being at home. With that crowd and everything. So yeah. As for my ensemble that I'm wearing, a lot of people are gonna probably wonder why I'm wearing the Braves and their season is over. I got to give them some kind of a shout out for winning 9 in a row and possibly at a 10th tonight. Um, in the season hot. I always like, don't give in. I mean, if you're a team like the Braves, you're gonna have a whole new coaching staff next season. End it on a high note, what I'm saying? A little too late. I understand, but don't go out in a whimper. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're going out there, they busting heads open with names that we never heard of. That I like that. I absolutely like that. Fell short with the dream. Congrats, ladies. You did the city proud. For a team that has not people really follow, you did your thing. Atlanta United, keep doing what y'all doing, brother. Get better, please. I mean, it's y'all becoming an afterthought now. So it's like, do something, do anything, do something. Um, for my Falcons, man. I mean, I know this very depressing that I was, spewing out. But listen, I'm still watch you. Just be better. Just be better. Don't go out there and get mollywopped like you just did last Sunday. I know you're better than that. Everyone in the city knows you're better than that. Just be better.
Be
For
better,
that
man.
note, For that note, I'm gonna say you can find me at Antoine Jarrell Banks on Facebook or Baby Banks 80 on Instagram.
I like the way Banks put it, man. Be better, boys. Just be better, man. If y'all hear this, man, from your lips, Banks, to God's ears, man, let them boys be better on this Sunday and come out, man, and do what they need to do, man. We know the NFL is week to week and it's going to be tough, man. We got to come out with a W, man. Some way, somehow, man. Like you said, Banks, by hook or by crook, we'll figure it out. You can catch us on all social media platforms. That's at ATL3 Style. You can catch me over there on the X if you're still over there at Southern Set. You can also catch our boy DJ K-Roll. He's on all the platforms, whatever, Twitter, Twitch, all of it, Banks, I guess. You can catch our boy over there. And also this Sunday, man, if you're coming out to the game, man, as always, Falcons players, quarter Northside Drive in Nelson, man. If you're coming out looking for one of the best, the best tailgate in the city, come out there and holler at the Falcons players. Corner of Northside Drive in Nelson. I might be up there this Sunday. Got a lot going on, man. We'll keep everybody posted on social media. Banks and I make an appearance. We want to come up there, chop it up with us and talk some Atlanta sports. This has been another edition of the ATL 3 Style Podcast. We're going to be out.